This has already been incredibly effective. This has got to be our biggest ever, and I know I could feel it last night when Watson had this idea that it all synergistically came together. I was freaked out. I was depressed. I was pacing around up here actually yelling, not even that loud, just like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is such classical tyranny. We've got to stand against this. And the ripples that are felt by this will continue out forever. We are pointing out that we know we're occupied. We're pointing out that we know a takeover is taking place. We're pointing out that we know that they're bankrupting our nation by design. We're pointing out that we know local spy grids are being set up. And we're coming out and saying, we know this is illegitimate. And then folks will go to Infowars.com. They will see the videos that you shoot of your activism, and they will learn what the V symbolizes. And through that solidarity, it will inspire them to know they're not alone, to know that we really are the majority that love liberty. Black, white, old, young, German, Chinese, Jewish, Arab, it doesn't matter. We've all got to come together now, whether you're in Chile or whether you are in the Netherlands. It doesn't matter whether you are in Saudi Arabia or whether you are in South Africa, whether you are in Nigeria or whether you are in Mongolia. Let's stand up against tyranny worldwide together. Victory for humanity, victory for liberty, victory for the truth. Come together now. Let's explode this information everywhere. V for victory. Thank you for joining us for this historic broadcast. Yesterday, you made the two search terms about China trying to own the U.S., #1 and #2 on Google. Today, I want to launch our most ambitious operation yet with the Google bomb to launch this V for Victory operation, and the answer to 1984 is 1776 operation. And so please write these down. I want to get the top 4 search terms today. I want you are resistance. You are resistance as one search term. That will lead them to the V campaign. You are resistance is the #1 search term. You are resistance. Those 3 words, you're doing an incredible job. Let's continue doing this together. This is very exciting what we're doing. You are resistance. The second search term is going to be V, just the letter V. V for victory. That's the second term. So the #1 term is you are resistance, short for you are the resistance, because you don't want to do 4 words, it won't work. You are resistance, short for you are the resistance. And V for victory. V for victory. Okay, so that's #1 is you are resistance, is the #1 search term. #2 is V for victory. And #3 is occupation of America. Occupation of America. All of those come out of the headline, you are the resistance against the DHS occupation of America. This is the treasonous paramilitary force openly taking over the U.S., confirming everything that Ridge said they would do 8 years ago, occupying the entire nation, training us for a Stasi society. They hired the former head of the Stasi in East Germany, Marcus Wolf, for 3 years on $1 million contracts to set all this up, 2002, 2003, 2004. He died a few years ago. I mean, you cannot make something up this insane. So, you are resistance, #1 search term. #2, V for victory. #3, occupation of America. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do this together, and I'm risking my life doing this, okay? I want you to know that. I'm at the tip of the spear right here. I don't care. I will not have my children and my grandchildren to come being slaves, and you shouldn't either, and there's no doubt about what's happening. As we told you, they do the same thing in every other nation. They take control of the central government, they bankrupt the states, the provinces, the sectors, and then they bring it into international receivership, and instead of paying the nation paying 5-10% for the debt to the bankers that's made up out of nothing, you start paying 15, 20, 30. Then it's more impossible to pay. Then it's even higher. And a $1 billion debt could turn into $100 billion. They claim we owe 14+ trillion to these bankers, and it's all made up. But they say, too big to fail, give us everything, give us your land. The EU, admittedly, was a receivership arm. They said Ireland was the wealthiest per capita country, doing so great. Then a month after they went under EU control, they're bankrupted and everything's handed over to the bankers. Even their own government admits it's foreign banker debt they don't owe. The same thing's happening here. Iceland's saying no. We have to be an example worldwide. Instead of America being an example of decadence and corruption and genocide, we need to be an example of liberty and freedom again. The answer to 1984 is 1776. So please, all of you go to Infowars.com. All of you go to PrisonPlanet.com and get the article with the PDF of all these different great V designs that we put together last night. You are the resistance against the DHS occupation of America. V for Victory campaign, a mark of defiance against Homeland Security's takeover of society. It is there. We're putting our John Hancocks on the Declaration of Independence. 2011, as we go straight into this tyranny, we are saying no on every front right now. We are showing solidarity that we know what's happening, and we're waking others up who will question what this V campaign is about. So make your videos exposing the Homeland Security takeover. That's the answer to 1984 1776 operation that will have unbelievable reverberations for freedom and awakening. And at the heart of that, you can incorporate it into both, the V for Victory campaign. Do not wait. Print them off today. Hit them hard. Put them up again next week. Do not stop. Do not wait. Get involved today. Do you realize what we can do together? We can sit back and watch this spread, not just across the United States, but across the world. And the tyrants will take the bait. They will demonize this. They will attack it. They will say that it's violent when the whole thing is about peaceful awakening. We are the people. We are the sovereigns. It's we the people. It's our nation. We have a right to say no to going under IMF World Bank receivership. And they will take the bait, as they did with the Obama posters, and they will demonize it all over the news. And it will cause a bigger explosion of this info. But we got to move quick because we learned earlier the orders will start going out to tell media not to cover this. So we got to hit them hard before the next few days when they get the orders trickling down locally not to cover this. And that'll wake them up. They'll ask, why are we being told this? Get it out now. The CIA's watching right now. The globalists, the offshore banks, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, they know what we're doing. But there's so many of us. We are the majority. We are liberty, and we're showing people that we're putting our colors out there loud and proud so people understand that there is a resistance. If you're listening to my voice, if you're watching me right now, if you're reading our websites, you are the resistance. You are the solution. Look in the mirror. It's up to you. Come together. We need each other.
Now, today sees the launch of our new campaign, You Are the Resistance. Resistance is Victory. And of course, we're going with the classic historical archetype V symbol of resistance as part of this video and flyer campaign that Alex is launching today. Now, Homeland Security has announced its total takeover of society, with the video messages at Walmart checkouts ordering Americans to report on each other. And now we know that these are being expanded to sports stadiums, shopping malls, and other places within your community across the nation. Now, yesterday we posted also the billboard. Homeland Security is now ordering Americans where they can and can't park their vehicle. So we've officially launched our V for Victory campaign to let Big Sis know that we're not going to tolerate the DHS invasion of America. Now, the historical foundation of this V symbol campaign, of which you can download the flyers on PrisonPlanet.com right now, has nothing to do with V for Vendetta, the movie. It's launched within the spirit of the French resistance, who expressed their solidarity and defiance when France was invaded and occupied by the Nazis during World War II. Now, Alex touched on this a little bit earlier. The confluence of events that created this campaign came as Alex was already preparing to launch the answer to 1984 is 1776 campaign, details of which are going up imminently on Infowars.com. And then I had the idea to incorporate the V resistance symbol within that campaign that Alex was already preparing to launch, because the historical archetype of the French resistance as a whole is a powerful undercurrent of the message of freedom that continues to vibrate through the generations. Now, my personal interest was really piqued when my parents recently moved into their new house in France, which was built in the 1860s. And we subsequently found out that it was inhabited by French resistance rebels who were active in the Isère region of France during the Second World War, which was a particularly rich region for resistance against the Nazis in the latter stages of the Second World War. But on top of that, when I visited my parents at Christmas, we went for a walk in the forest behind their house, and we stumbled upon this huge derelict chateau in the middle of the woods, which we later discovered was in fact another headquarters for the French resistance leadership in the area. And it was basically situated not much more than a stone's throw from where my parents live. And having lived there for many months now, they weren't even aware of it until we just stumbled across it. And it turns out that the reason behind this chateau being derelict is because the French resistance leaders who were headquartered inside it were burned alive when the Nazis torched the house in 1944. So to have, you know, such a visceral piece of history in the woods behind my parents' house obviously encouraged me to begin a deeper study of the French resistance, which is eventually what led to the idea for this V for Victory campaign. So